It's a bit ironic, isn't it, that the Labour Party is suggesting that 16 and 17-year-olds should get a vote, and the Conservative Party is suggesting they should be shipped off to the nearest army barracks. Maybe the solution is to ask them. Maybe the solution is to give them the vote and then propose conscription and see how many 16 and 17-year-olds are keen on that idea. Maybe we should ask them if we think they're so important in the next election. Maybe, maybe instead of imposing something on them, we should be asking their opinion. And maybe, rather than fiddling around with the top of the school chain, we should be ensuring that the education that we are providing to children and teenagers is adequate in the first place. I think, having been a teacher for most of my life, I think the education that we offer in the UK is appalling. Whether that is in state schools or in private schools, it's got worse and worse and worse. And the reason I think it's appalling is because it's all very much geared to a series of increasingly difficult and box-ticking exams, and that was led by the GCSE format, so that the A-level, which should be significantly more of a preparation for university, is increasingly taught and examined as a sort of super version of GCSE, although its contents are quite heavily developed. This sort of formulaic writing, we should be developing skills so that students can learn how to write an essay. And indeed, if anybody wants to learn how to write an essay, please go to my video on that, how to write a good essay, and at least follow the first 3 or 4 minutes of that video. My proposal is a 5-paragraph essay. The first paragraph is an introduction, the last paragraph is a conclusion, and then the next 2 paragraphs, paragraphs 2 and 3, are really a reassurance to the reader that you know what you're talking about, and paragraph 4 is what I call the crunch, the bit of the essay where you are putting forward the particular information, well defended, with evidence or quotations, that sets out the dynamic information that makes your essay stand out as special, whether that is to question some of the accepted facts or to provide something new. And I think students should learn how to write thematically rather than chronologically. One of the features that I am very keen on teaching is the tricolon, grouping ideas together in threes, because it's elegant, but also because it suggests that you've got an overall control of the information, and it's about controlling information, which is what we should be teaching and what students should be learning. Instead, students are learning information about a subject which ultimately they're no longer going to need after they leave school, after they leave university. And we're not teaching, in my experience, the skills of writing and the skills of analysis, which lie at the heart of developing someone's ability to adapt to new situations and to be able to rehone their skills in a new environment. And I think a future education system should perhaps put less emphasis on the exam and more on the teaching. I think it should be significantly more respectful to schools and universities and encourage the schools and universities to conduct their own testing systems rather than to rely so exclusively on these national tests, which ultimately are a form of terror. And in the same way, I think OFCOM should exist simply as a guide, and certainly if it's going to offer advice, that should be private and off the record. It should not be used as a way to select good and bad schools in the neighbourhood. All schools should be considered good, and Ofcom should be working very hard to ensure that they remain so. That is its job.